So this is James, and I'm going to introduce a few ideas to you about the use of images in Sketchbook. So I guess the thing for me is that I want to use images on the canvas that I don't believe I can draw live well enough to do the job for the students, or perhaps they're things that kind of exemplify what it is I'm talking about. So let's say I'm talking about, I don't know, something skeletal. I'm talking about the body in some way, and I've got an option here to add an image layer. So I'm going to choose that. I can also go to File, Add Image, but I'll choose this one for now. And I'm going to choose the same image I had earlier. No, in fact, let's actually choose an image here of Ellie, who's our French teacher. Look. Okay, so I'm going to choose an image of Ellie here. Okay, so a couple of things. Once I add the image in there, I can squish it down, I can zoom it, I can make it larger. Just bear in mind you might get some pixelation at larger images. I can do that, I can move it around, I can do whatever. Now, as I close this control, if you have a look over here, in fact it's already done, you're going to see that this is going to become a layer in its own right. Okay, so it's now a layer in our canvas. Now, a couple of things. I can close it, I can not see it, I can delete it, I can name it. Let's actually name it here. Let's call this Ellie's layer, like that. And then I've got this layer in here. I've got a couple of other options. I can merge it with the canvas below, so it becomes part of the layer below, so it becomes that. I can lock it so that nothing can be done. As you see, I can hide it. I can also duplicate it if I want to, and there's various other things I can do from there. But look, I guess for me, a couple of key things are I can I can hide it if I want to. It's kind of nice from a presentational perspective. Now, bear in mind that I've got the image layer selected here. I can, of course, simply just kind of draw on it, draw all over it. That's absolutely fine. And if I then close that layer, that whole drawing will disappear over the top of it. Okay, so let me just undo that so we've not got that there. Now, if, for example, I've got this closed, and let's say I try and draw, it won't let me draw on that layer because that layer has disappeared. But I can go here, sort of draw some squiggly line, and when I put my layer back on, that squiggly line is going to disappear because my image is above it. And if I bring the image down so it's below there, you'll see now that my canvas layer is above my image layer. So my image layer is there somewhere in the background. Okay, if I bring that back into the top, it now sits on top. Okay, so there's a couple of nice little few things that you might want to think about like that. Equally, now I've got my picture layer selected here. If I choose this tool here, the transform, again, I can now move it around. So maybe that squiggle is my title, or I want the squiggle underneath my picture or to the side of it. I can do that, and notice how I'm only dragging this layer. Okay, I'm only dragging that layer, so I can put that there perhaps. Okay, so I can do that if I want to, and there we go. All right, so images are nice to use. Again, it could well be that choose another image here. It could well be that I want to talk about Ellie, and I want to talk about some runners, and I could put my Ellie image and my runner image next to each other, and it could even be that I want the runner image and the Ellie image. Maybe I want them to be part of the same layer, so I make them the same layer. So when I get rid of them, that way they can move around together. Okay, there's all kinds of stuff that you can do to make that nice and feasible for you. So for me, I don't want to sort of overemphasize images to teachers, because in my opinion, in some senses, we want to use freehand drawing as frequently as possible within our teaching, especially if we're teaching basic ideas. I mean, I can't draw Ellie with the complexity that she has as an object. I don't mean to objectify Ellie, but I can't draw her anywhere near as well as we can photograph her. So there's no point me drawing her. But if it was something like, I don't know, let me think. If I was doing an illustration of the moon, maybe I'd just quickly sketch that here. We don't necessarily want a drawing of that, or a picture of that, I should say. So we want drawing to happen as frequently as possible within teaching, but you might want to use images as reference points. And again, you might find the images, especially at the start of your teaching, are really nice. So again, let me see if I can find one that would be relevant. Let's go to my downloads here, see what I've got available in terms of imagery. It may well be that I want to talk all about the hand, this is kind of a complex object. Maybe I want to talk about this hand object here. and it's better for me to include this image rather than try and sort of sketch that out. Now I'm going to show you in another tutorial how I could actually trace over this with a different layer and produce something which was drawn of better quality before my teaching episode. But anyway, here's some information about images. Hope that's helpful.